Alright, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Rafael Ndwiga. If you're new to the channel, kindly give me your support by subscribing, hitting the notification button, and sharing it with your peers. If you're joining the channel from Software Engineering Program by ALX and Hamilton, when filling in the captain log, don't forget to put my name on the list of people who helped you resolve challenges you faced while tackling the project. Now, in today's video, we'll be looking at Vagrant. Here are some of the questions we'll be answering. What is Vagrant? Who built it and why? Where is it used? What are some of the benefits of using it? And is it really important for you to be a ninja in using it? Before I answer these questions, let's get some background first. The difference between winning and losing air combat is being able to react faster than your opponent. For service providers in software industry, this is the same. For them to be more successful than their competition, they need to be able to build new solutions, fix production issues, and add new features faster. John Boyd, an Air Force pilot, developed a concept called OODA: Observe, Orient, Decide, Act, to describe the process of being able to react, respond, and change faster than an enemy in air combat while making minimal errors. To be a successful software engineer or developer, you need to treat the entire process from development, testing, and launch of a product like an air combat. So how do you attain this? Automation is the answer. With automation, software companies are able to streamline their software delivery process, reduce the time taken to onboard new engineers, reproduce production errors faster, and reduce the amount of a headache associated with developing and shipping software solutions. It also makes it possible to ensure that the developers are on the same page regardless of what environment they are all developing the solutions from. I've always believed that the best software engineer is also the laziest person in the room. I don't mean it in a bad way or anything, but it's true. For instance, back in 2010, Mitchell Hashimoto, the creator of Vagrant, while working for a web development consultancy, got so frustrated at having to repeatedly manually set up development environment for various projects. So, to resolve his frustration, he started working on a way of automating the process, to automate the setup process for the development environment, no matter what the dependencies or configurations were required. Hence, Vagrant was born. Now, Vagrant takes the cloud and through the use of virtualizations, puts it in anyone's desktop. From two simple commands, Vagrant init, Vagrant app, it automatically builds, configures a fully featured development environment that is unboxed in a virtual machine or a VM for any purpose, and it launches it ready for use. But don't confuse simplicity with the lack of features. Under the hood, when you issue or invoke the two commands, this is what basically happens. One, it creates a VM based on the operating system you have specified on the Vagrant init command. It generates a configuration file that you can use to customize the setup environment. It establishes a network interface that you can use to access the VM easily from your machine, from another VM, and from another device on the network. Now, apart from that, it also establishes network connection. So it configures the network so yeah, it also modifies the physical properties of your machine, e.g. RAM, CPU numbers, and so on. It sets up shared folders in such a way that you can continue working on your project and have those mirrored to the guest machine. Now, Vagrant is not just a tool for programmers. It's also a tool for DevOps or operation engineers and also UI UX designers. It's a powerful tool for software engineers who wants to isolate dependencies and configurations for their softwares into a single consistent environment within within a single configuration file. It lowers your development environment setup, allowing you to harmonize the development environment you're using with your team, increasing the development and production parity, and also allows you to use any of your development tools without much of a fuss. So, and on top of that, if there's a task you cannot accomplish with your development environment, you can extend Vagrant by developing plugin to achieve what you need. For DevOps engineers, it is one of the critical tools that allows them to create disposable and consistent workflows for testing the infrastructure management scripts. It empowers them to develop and test workflows uh, with Puppet modules, Chef cookbooks, and shell scripts using local virtualization such as VMware, and VirtualBox. Once done with testing, you can use them on remote cloud. They can be able to use them on remote clouds such as DigitalOcean, AWS, GCP, and so on. Now, for UI UX designers, it allows them to it allows them to it allows them to focus on the design, since they're able to replicate the environment used by the developers, as they no longer have the bottleneck of consulting software developers whenever they need to test their latest design. So how do you get started with Vagrant? Now, Vagrant, um, Vagrant draws its power from leveraging uh, virtualization software such as Parallels. So we have Parallels, okay. It also draws from VirtualBox. So this is Parallels, this is VirtualBox, and VMware, and also Hyper-V. As such, for you to get started using Vagrant, you need to install any of this. Now this is Hyper-V. Yeah, so we also have Hyper-V. Yes, and then we have VMware Fusion. So yeah, so you need to be able to install any of these solutions: VMware Fusion, Hyper-V, Oracle's VirtualBox, or Parallels. Now, in this tutorial, I'll be using VirtualBox since it's free and it's available on every major platform. So I've done a separate tutorial on how to install both VirtualBox and Vagrant. Have a look at that particular tutorial before you proceed further. So I'll have the link on that particular tutorial on the top of on one of the cards on this particular video. Now, to get started using Vagrant, in my case, on my machine, I've installed VirtualBox. So to start Vagrant, we'll use the command. Let me start off my terminal. Give me a moment. All right, here we go. So having already installed a virtualization product, in my case is VirtualBox, we'll use the commands Vagrant init, then the base OS that we want to use to download the Vagrant box, and then we run the command Vagrant app to start the box. Now, a Vagrant box is basically a packaged Vagrant environment. This can be a base operating system such as Ubuntu, or it can be a specialized box with some software stack already configured for your use. Some of the specialized boxes includes LAMP stack, Ruby, Python boxes, and Python boxes. Now, you can be able to get the Vagrant boxes. You can be able to quickly get the Vagrant boxes by visiting the Vagrant cloud/boxes. Okay, so let me zoom in. And when you visit Vagrant Cloud, you will see here we have a list of Vagrant boxes provider. We have VirtualBox, we have VMware, we have libvirt, and others. So since I've been using VirtualBox, and I'll be using a Vagrant box from Ubuntu. Specifically, I'll be using Ubuntu 12 or Ubuntu 20. So now here, just search Ubuntu 20. So search Ubuntu 20. Here it is. So you can see this particular provider is for this is a VirtualBox provider. So select VirtualBox, and then I'll come here. Then I'll copy this command. Since to get started with Vagrant, first of all we have to do init, and then specify the operating system. So the provider and the operating system, or the box name. So the provider is Ubuntu. The box name is Focal 64. Now, what I will do, create my working environment. So mkdir say Vagrant _tutorial, and then I will cd into it. Okay, hit enter. So mkdir is used to create a directory. So now, since I'm here and I've copied that particular command for the box. Sorry for that. Let me copy the command again. The command is Vagrant init. Vagrant init is a command that we'll be using. So copy it there. Then I'll hit enter. Now, what happens once that one is done, you can see it gives you information. Say a Vagrant file has been placed in this directory. You're now ready to Vagrant up your first virtual environment. So if I do ls to see the file that they are mentioning, you can see a Vagrant file has been written. Now I can look the content of this file by doing cat, then Vagrant file, and you can see there's a bunch of comments. So we'll be looking at these comments later on, but the most important bit is this Ubuntu/Focal64. This is the box that we have specified that we want to use. Okay, so I'll clear, and then I'll issue the command vagrant app. Now, when you issue the command vagrant app, what it does, the first thing, it looks for whether this particular box already exists within our environment or within our PC. So since it cannot be found, then it tells you that the provider is VirtualBox. Okay, and then from the Vagrant file, it has found that the box that we're interested in is Ubuntu Focal 64. And then here it also gives you the default URL. This default URL is the URL for where that particular box can be found. So in our case here, if you look here, the URL bar, you can see that this URL is this is the same URL that has been listed there. Okay, so now the first time when you issue the command vagrant app and Vagrant cannot find this box, this default box on your environment, it will download the box file. Now it will download the box file, usually around between in the ranges of MBs. For example, this base file is approximately 300 MB, but if for some other boxes they may be larger, even to the tunes of a gigabyte or so, depending on the kind of software that has been configured there. Now the beauty of doing this, of doing the initial download, is that for every new project that you'll be doing and you're using the same box as that has been loaded before, Vagrant will be creating a clone. Note, to be creating a clone of that particular box. So that means it has saved on the download, the time taken to download the a box file, and then if at all you already had and then at the same time, it will not interfere with already running boxes. So if you already have a project that's using the version of the Ubuntu 20, and then you want to start off another project with the same base OS of Ubuntu 20, it will not replace that the previous Ubuntu 20, but it will create a clone, a fresh clone from the base image that was fetched. Now, as you can see, my Vagrant is still working. You can see it has successfully downloaded the box file. You can see telling you that it's importing the base. So basically by telling me importing the base box is creating a clone of this, and then it's setting up the networking. Okay, and then it's also setting up the name of the VM, and then you can see here it's preparing network interfaces. Is setting up adapter 1 as NAT, and then is forwarding ports in such a way that you should be able to log in to search from your machine you should be able to search from your local machine to the virtualized environment, or to the box that has been run. And then once it has run through that one and also the customizations, so we say that Vagrant, the beauty, the power of Vagrant is that it allows you to configure your development environment. So that configuration is also called customization or provisioning, and you can provision Vagrant using various ways. One of them is using SSH and using shell command. So we'll see how to achieve that we will create a bash script that Vagrant will be running whenever you run the command vagrant app or vagrant provision. And then you can see here it has created like I said, it has forwarded port 22 to 2222, and then it has set the SSH address appropriately, the username, and then the private key. This is just to allow you to SSH to that particular box. And then you can see it has said that the machine is booted and ready, and then it's mounting shared folders. Now the shared folders is essential for developers, is one of the key things that's beneficial to you as a developer, as a DevOps engineer, as a designer, because what the shared folders does is that a Vagrant keeps it keeps the file on the folder that has the Vagrant file in sync with the files inside the VM. Okay, we will see that one in a minute. So now, since Vagrant has said that it has completed, we can check on the status of the VM by issuing the command vagrant status. Okay, so now vagrant status is used to check the state of the environment, since as you can see there's no graphical interface that has been created here when you read the Vagrant app. So right now the Vagrant app, when you invoke the Vagrant app command, it tells you that the default VM is running, and it gives you the provider. Okay, and also it tells you that the VM is running. To stop this VM, you can use this command vagrant halt to shut it down forcefully, or vagrant suspend to simply suspend the virtual machine, and in either case, to restart it again, you can simply run vagrant app. So now if you want to really confirm that it's actually Ubuntu 20 that has been installed, what you can do is you can invoke the command vagrant SSH. Now, for those who are using Windows machine, to be able to do an SSH, OpenSSL needs to be installed on your OpenSSH needs to be installed on a machine. So to do that, you can come and search for a software called CGWine. Okay, this one, and then you can install this. Okay, so you can read through this particular documentation, just what CGWine is. But basically it gives you what one of the softwares it installs it installs OpenSSH. So now on my PC, on my terminal, I will do Vagrant. Type the command Vagrant SSH. Okay. And what will happen is that issuing this command, it will drop me inside the SSH console within the VM. So you can see basically on just doing Vagrant SSH, it already tells me that this is Ubuntu 20. Ubuntu 20. Other, if at all you are the box that you have selected is not Ubuntu, and want to see the software, the version of, or which particular OS you have installed, you can invoke the command ls underscore release -a. Okay, so right now it tells me that oh sorry, the command is lsb underscore release -a. Can tell the distributor ID is Ubuntu, description is Ubuntu 20. The code name is focal. Other command you can be able to use to check the version of OS that you're running is cat /etc /os release. Okay, it will give you the same kind of information but a little bit more detailed. Right now you can see it's giving us URL to Ubuntu's homepage, support, where to report the bugs, and also the privacy policy. The other command you can use to check the version is cat /etc/issue. This one also just give you the name. Okay. The other command you can also use is hostname ctl. Hostname ctl, and you can see it gives you more information. It even tells you what particular kernel is running on the particular VM and the architecture. So each of the commands gives you a little bit of more details. As you can see, the first one just gave us the information related to the OS itself. The second command gave us additional information such as the home URI, the support URI, the privacy URI, and then this other command just gave us the name of the OS. Hostname ctl command, it gives us a chassis, so it tells us so the chassis, it gives us the machine ID, boot ID, virtualization technology used. In this case is Oracle. Also it gives us the kernel version installed, and also the architecture of the OS. The last command you can use to check the same kind of information with other details is cat etc lsb release. Okay, you can see this is similar to this. Okay, but a little bit more raw version of it. Now, well, in this environment, you can install any software you wish, or even manipulate files. So, for example, I can do can say sudo apt install VLC. So, supposing you want just to install the VLC player, whatever purpose. So you can see itself, they can't be able to find VLC, but you can also do sudo apt update to get to fetch updates. Okay, so it's fetching updates, and then If you want to run an upgrade on the VM, you can be able to do that. Now, all this, like this particular command you have run, update, it's a command that that can be provisioned or customized, such that whenever the VM is running, or you issue the command Vagrant app, Vagrant, when it's booting up, it also executes this particular shell command, so that the VM is updated automatically, and install any other software that you want. So right now you can see, since we have run an update. So the update does, it basically refreshes the packages. You can see here, it basically refreshes all the packages metadata. So now to do that, you can see to download almost at this size of additional archives. I'm not interested in doing that, so just hit no N on my keyboard, then hit enter, and I've uploaded. Now I can issue the command exit to log out from the exit command. Basically logs out me from the SSH session in the VM. We can see the difference by this. So this there's a difference between, you can see here, the username of this is the username of the VM is Vagrant, and then this is the host name of the VM. And now when I issue the command exit, it took me back to my default environment. That's all for now. In the next video, we will be looking at how to set up the shared folders. Also, we'll be looking at customizing the boot up sequence through boot up sequence, and provisioning additional software through the use of a shell script. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked, kindly subscribe, like the video, and share with your peers. That's all for now. See you in my next tutorial.